Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So, we are really getting into this show in the overall senses of what could possibly be happening and what is probably not happening. And one of the things that I don't think is happening is I don't think these people are alive anymore. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody we see, it's like their wills or it's somehow just them kind of, whatever was left behind of them is kind of what we're seeing the echoes of, I think, in my opinion. But I could be totally wrong. I couldn't really tell, because I mean, the show doesn't want us to know probably, so I just don't know yet. But overall, man, I truly was enjoying myself and just watching uh, the overall notion of them trying to figure out what could be going on. Um, to think that all of them may be dead, kind of seems a little bit rough to think about now. It seems like they might have a chance to still be alive at this point, seeing how her brother is also alive, and not to mention that there was a lot of people in pain at the facility that this girl that our main character was at. Like, for some reason or another, people were just straight up screaming their heads off and seemingly being tortured, So if that's the case, we might have a lot more survivors that are from there, and the reason why we only think there's one is because that's what they want the people of the world to know, that even have that type of information. Um, but to think that they're just in there straight up torturing people kind of made me interested to see where the overall narrative of this was going. Because not only if she has the power, and like I was saying last week, it felt like every time, wow, that was dumb. Um, every time we saw these people show up, it happened to be so convenient, and not to mention all of these entities or like these things that are pretty much fighting the way that they are, they then show us that they have just the amount of power as she does. So that was like a super red flag in the overall consensus of what we continue to learn about this show. So I am, for one, like interested in all of that, but at the same time, it feels like we aren't going to learn much because there's only so much to even be told throughout this story. Like, we learned that this girl who we pretty much predicted could have been, dead all this time, seemingly she created this whole entire world out of her will to want to relive the moments with her band, or like her group. And because our main girl knew about this girl's like actual overall life, that kind of gave her the tips um, to understand, what the heck could be possibly going on. Not to mention um, the guy who is Geek, who's with us. He straight up confirms that, the girl who chose not to be in the band and the girl who they believe is the one who created this place, which, if she is still alive and she did have a blog in the future, um, that just goes to show that something, somehow, with her being one of the people in the experiment, why would she have a place she likes to go? Why would she even be able to talk? If she was one of the people that were tortured and stuff like that, or one of the people that they found out had some type of connection within this world. So, I don't know. I'm really interested in this all. though seemingly the way they get out was her pushing the girl to do what she was regretting or what she already thought was impossible to do, in the overall senses of she just didn't think the whole thing would work out the way she wanted it to. So to think that we might be on to something, to learning what is truly pushing and pulling the narrative towards like these people who have lost maybe their lives in this, but their will of what they wanted at the end of the day is still there. So we'll just have to see where all this leads. I'm really interested overall, but the hypest part of this episode was definitely meeting the brother. I think his name was Soma. My God, this kid is pretty sketchy. um, Starts out with pretty much wrecking the bike, and then by breaking this guy's arm with the same power, is threatening to pretty much kill him, and he just wants his sister to, come back with them. It's the craziest thing, man. And to think that he, who was supposedly right there with her at one point, well, I guess not actually, because when we see the actual event happening, the only person really there was her bodyguard, supposedly. And he, necessarily failed, supposedly, and it was taken away. And because his will is wanting to protect her, that's why we keep seeing him coming up in the protective role for her. So it's really cool in that instance. And I was like, okay, 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 I can mess with this. I'm liking it. But then the younger brother shows up, and you're just like, oh my God, this kid is broken, bro. Like, he's broken. So now I'm pretty interested in just what he brings to the overall narrative of this story. Is he going to be the main bad guy? And if he is, he already is using some weird instrument, seemingly, to channel his power through, instead of just out of her own willpower. She's been channeling up, and because of like the stress that she was enduring this week, she blows up, guys. She straight up blows up like a whole town casually, because of just what her brother was doing to the guy, and I guess she wanted it to stop. So it just goes to show you, uh, there's so much in this show we could probably learn, but they're gonna take their time, and hopefully they do it right. I just want to see something really entertaining slash just fun to watch overall. So with that being said, though, my anime people, I hope you have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be, and I will talk to you in the next one. So let's hope that if the brother is evil, he's not overpoweredly broken, so we can still beat him. But yeah, I doubt it. Peace. How was that a sweep, brother? No way. Let's go.